You probably heard this before. Electric cars are cheaper. But what if I told you that's not always true? In fact, depending on how you drive, where you live, and even how long you keep your car an electric vehicle, could actually cost you thousands more than a gas car. Yet nobody likes to hear that. Because right now there is this massive push telling you electric vehicles are the obvious smart choice, lower fuel costs, less maintenance, better for the environment. Sounds like a no-brainer, right? But here is the problem. Most people are only looking at one piece of the puzzle. They see gas prices going up and think, okay, electric is cheaper. But they are not thinking about the hidden costs, the long-term expenses, the things that quietly drain your wallet over time. And that is exactly where people get it wrong. Because the real cost of owning a car is not just what you pay at the pump or the charger. It is everything combined. So in this video, we're going to break down the true, complete cost of gas versus electric cars, no hype, no bias. Just the numbers and what they actually mean for you. Because once you see this, you might rethink everything you thought you knew about electric vehicles. But here is what nobody tells you. Let's say you are 28 years old. You make around $55,000 a year. And you are finally ready to buy your first real car. You walk into the dealership, and you are faced with two options: a gas car for $25,000 or an electric car for $38,000. The salesperson smiles and says, yeah, the electric car is more expensive up front, but you will save money in the long run. And that sounds reasonable, because gas prices are insane, maintenance is annoying, and electric vehicles feel like the future. But here is where it gets tricky. Electric vehicle owners can save around $800 to $1,500 per year on fuel. Sounds great. But at the same time, the average annual cost of owning a new vehicle is over $12,000 per year. And guess what? Fuel is just a small portion of that. So the real question is not which car is cheaper to fuel. It is which car is actually cheaper to own. Because that is what really matters. And if you have ever felt confused, overwhelmed, or unsure about which one is the better financial decision, you are not alone. Most people make this decision based on marketing, not math. So let's break this down. First, let's talk about the price you pay on day one. This is where most people already lose. Electric cars are still significantly more expensive up front. On average, electric vehicles cost about $10,000 to $15,000 more than comparable gas vehicles. So if you are buying a gas car for $25,000, the electric version might be closer to $40,000. That is not a small difference. That is a huge financial gap. Now, yes, there are tax credits. In some cases, you might get up to $7,500 back. But here is the catch. Not everyone qualifies. And even if you do, still need to pay that higher price up front. Think of it like this. Buying an electric car is like prepaying for years of future savings. You are spending more today, hoping it balances out later. But what if you do not keep the car long enough? What if your situation changes? That upfront cost becomes a sunk cost. Now here is where electric vehicles really shine. Fuel costs. Charging an electric car is usually much cheaper than filling up a gas tank. On average, a gas car costs around $1,500 to $2,500 per year in fuel. An electric car costs around $500 to $1,000 per year in charging. That is a savings of about $1,000 per year. Sounds amazing, right? But wait, there is more to this. Because electricity prices vary a lot. If you are charging at home in a low-cost area, great. But if you rely on public fast chargers, you could be paying almost the same as gas. And here's the hidden twist. Fast charging too often can also degrade your battery faster, which leads to bigger costs later. So, yes, electric vehicles save money on fuel. But those savings are not always as big or as consistent as people think. Now, you have probably heard this. Electric cars have fewer moving parts, so they are cheaper to maintain. And that is partially true. Electric vehicles do not need oil changes. No spark plugs. No exhaust systems. That is great. On average, electric vehicle owners save about 30 to 40% on maintenance costs. But here is the part nobody talks about. When something does go wrong, it is expensive. Really expensive. Battery issues, electronic systems, specialized repairs. These are not your local mechanic fixes. They are dealership-level costs. Think of it like owning a smartphone versus a basic phone. Daily use is easy, but when it breaks, it is painful. So yes, electric vehicles usually cost less to maintain, but when they do not, they hit hard. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Depreciation. This is the amount your car loses in value over time, and it is the largest cost of owning any vehicle. Now, traditionally, gas cars depreciate steadily, but electric vehicles have been unpredictable. Some electric vehicles lose value faster than gas cars. Why? Because technology is evolving quickly. New models come out with better range, better batteries, better features. And suddenly your new electric car feels outdated. In fact, some electric vehicles have lost over 50% of their value in just 3 years. That is massive. It is like buying the latest phone only for it to feel old in a year. Now, to be fair, this is improving as the market matures, but it is still a risk. And if you plan to sell or trade in your car, this matters more than anything else, because depreciation can quietly cost you thousands. Here is something most people do not think about: insurance. Electric cars are generally more expensive to insure. Why? Higher repair costs, more expensive parts, specialized labor. On average, electric vehicle insurance can be 10 to 20% higher than gas vehicles. So if your gas car insurance is around $1,200 per year, your electric vehicle might cost around $1,400 to $1,500. Not a huge difference monthly, but over time it adds up. It is like a slow leak in your wallet. You do not notice it right away, but over time it drains more than you expected. And now we get to one of the biggest deciding factors of all. How long you keep the car changes everything. This is the game changer. If you keep your car for a long time, say 8 to 10 years, electric vehicles start to make more financial sense because those fuel savings compound. Maintenance stays relatively low, and the upfront costs get spread out over time. But if you switch cars every 3 to 5 years, gas cars often win because you never fully recover that higher upfront electric vehicle cost. And depreciation hits harder. Think of it like a gym membership. If you go once a month, it is expensive. If you go every day, it is worth it. Same thing with electric vehicles. The longer you commit, the better they perform financially. So, what do you actually do with this information? First, calculate your total cost of ownership. Do not guess. Calculate. Add up the purchase price, fuel or electricity, insurance, maintenance, and estimated depreciation. Use online calculators or even a simple spreadsheet. This takes about 30 to 60 minutes, but it gives you clarity. Because the cheapest car is not the one with the lowest price. It is the one with the lowest total cost. Second, analyze your driving habits. Ask yourself how many miles you drive per year. Do you have access to home charging? Do you take long road trips often? If you drive a lot and can charge at home, electric vehicles become much more attractive. If not, gas might still be the better choice. This step is all about matching the car to your lifestyle. Third, decide your ownership timeline. Be honest. Are you someone who keeps cars for years or upgrades every few years? If you are a long-term owner, electric vehicles might win. If you are a short-term owner, gas is often safer financially. This decision alone can save or cost you thousands of dollars. 4, do not ignore incentives and resale trends. Check government tax credits, local rebates, and resale value trends. These can shift the math significantly, but do not rely on them blindly. Use them as a bonus, not the foundation of your decision. So here is the truth. Electric cars can be cheaper, but only under the right conditions. If you look at the full picture: upfront cost, fuel, maintenance, depreciation, and how long you keep the car, the answer is not one size fits all. It depends on you, your habits, your finances, your timeline, and that is the real breakthrough. Because once you understand this, you stop making emotional decisions and start making smart financial ones. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more videos that break down money decisions in a way that actually makes sense. And next, you'll want to watch this, because I am breaking down why buying a new car might be one of the worst financial decisions you can make. Trust me, you do not want to miss that. Until then, make smarter choices, because small decisions like this, they quietly shape your entire financial future.